Hey guys, welcome back to another session on Clubhouse today. So thank you very much for everyone tuning to episode 3, which we called the Lunchbox Special. And obviously during lunchtimes, what we want to do is consume good information so we can become better people and better operators in what we do for life. And also we're going to be launching this episode 3 on YouTube again. So thank you very much for anyone that has tuned into YouTube. And more importantly, guys, if you're on the YouTube channel, if you can like, subscribe, and share this content with some family and friends, I'll be truly appreciative. And today, guys, we're going to talk about 3 very important topics in the sales field. And we're going to start with why people buy on emotion and justify it with logic. And I will also share some examples of that as well, both in the B2B and the B2C space, so you get a bit of an idea. And then we're going to talk about why you should focus on one task at a time. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, business people, and highly performing people try and do too many things sometimes, and what happens is they get nothing done, but we'll talk about that shortly as well. And the third and final part is we're going to talk about the No3 indicator. And it's basically an indicator system that I have created within my sales and logistics business. And I'll give you a bit of an example of what this means. But once again, guys, thank you very much for tuning in today. And our community is growing on Clubhouse, and we do need to get our YouTube community to grow to that another level. And like I said, guys, if you can share this content with some family and friends, I'll be truly appreciative. So yeah, number 1, we're going to talk about what I mean by when people buy on emotion and justify it by logic. So basically, I try and reverse engineer things so you can get a bit of understanding of what I actually mean. So what I mean by this is, you know, when you're wanting to buy a new car, you set out a budget, and basically your budget might be $30,000, and you want to buy a car that has obviously 4 doors, 4 wheels, and you want it to be white, right? And you gave yourself a $30K budget, and what you do is you go online and you start looking for all these cars. And even though you've set a price budget in mind, what happens is as you start exploring different brands and different cars online, you start to, I guess, get attracted to some certain cars. And what happens is when you're looking online for a car, you go, I really like this Mazda rather than the Toyota, but you know, the Mazda is $35,000 and not $30,000. And because you like that car so much, you're already willing to increase your budget. And even though you might not have that cash or money on you right now, you might start to look at ways at, I guess, increasing that cash balance to buy that particular car. So that's an example where, you know, people want to buy, I guess, with logical reasons, but they end up buying really on emotion. And in my particular industry, you know, just in the Melbourne market, as an example, there are 1,200 freight forwarders based in Melbourne, including us, right? The market is more than enough, so there's more than enough business to go out there. But one of the reasons why I get business is because I'm able to build up an emotional relationship with my, I guess, the people that I work with. So they don't just see me as a person that moves freight from A to B. They see me someone that's really inclined and dedicated and close to their business. And I usually become really close friends with the people I do business with. Now, just because they're, I guess, friends with me doesn't mean I can't do a great job. It still means I have to be highly competitive in what I do, but it gives me such an advantage. And one of the biggest skills that I have personally is I'm able to create major relationships in a very short time by saying a joke or something like that, and I'm able to build relationships. So I hope that makes sense. And if you need another example, always think about, like, just if you're a consumer, you might have a price in mind, but if you really like a product, you're generally going to pay more because of the emotional attachment. So for example, you might want a plain red shirt and your budget might be $30, and you go to a shop, you see a red shirt with some patterns that you really like, and it costs you $32, $35, and you're willing to spend that $2 to $5 more because you like that product. So even though you might have a logical reason in buying a product, you end up buying it for an emotional level. So hopefully that makes sense. And then the second part we're going to talk about is focusing on one task at a time. And, we live in a world where truly people want to do a billion things at once. And I think what happens is, especially now, we get caught up in the side hustle world. And unfortunately, I've seen a lot of people who start side hustles, and what happens is over time, they either, fail, stop, or working on these side hustles because they simply don't have systems and processes set up in their first or regular day job. So before you start a side hustle or create another business, what I'd like you to do is sit down and say, look at your first and current business or your primary job. So if you've got a full-time job, look at it and say, okay, how many hours am I doing a day? Can I reduce those amount of hours if I create systems and processes in place? And then once you've done that and you've become an expert in your field, that's when you can do another side hustle. So what happens is a lot of people start new jobs or start a new industry when they're working it, and they want to, straight away create another business. And your brain goes into overload because you're trying to learn a new business that you're working with, and you're also trying to create a new business, and it doesn't work. So with myself as an example, just so we can make it relatively to maybe, you guys get a better understanding on who I am, is I've spent, 3 or 4 months in my new role already, and I've already got the hang of it. And I've already seen my hours slowly go back to that 9 to 5 schedule, which is great. So when I first started, the first 3 months, it was literally from like 8 a.m. to like 8 p.m. every night. But I've got systems and processes in place. And now I can start focusing on coaching clients again and things like that, which is really good. And now I'm also focusing on my investing journey. But before you do that, you really, really, really need to create some processes in place. Hopefully that makes sense. And the third one is the 3 no indicator. And this is my perfect rule. And basically, when you're trying to do business with someone, I usually give them 3 chances before I give them space or move on to another opportunity. So what I mean by this is I'll create an appointment with a client, and they might call me on that same day or that day before that appointment and say, look, someone's sick, someone's got a virus, or we can't meet because we're busy, etc., etc. Now, when that happens to me, that means I've given them 1 chance already. I might go to the meeting, and as I'm driving to meeting, I might get a flat tire, I might get stuck in traffic, and I'll run late to that appointment. If that happens, that is the universe or the energies that are connected between myself and that person already saying, look, that's your second no with that person. And then I might meet that person and, it doesn't really connect, and I call that the 3rd no process, which basically means that I'm not aligned to that person. And when that happens, I usually don't push too hard to get the business. I simply give myself space and give that person space so our energies, realign. And to give you a perfect example, there was a client that I was chasing for the last 2 years, and I was hammering them every week trying to get appointments. And I noticed that every time we made an appointment, either my schedule got full or something would happen or theirs. And I followed this process, and believe it or not, I gave it about a 3 or 4 month break. And honestly, it was only last week or the week before where that client called me back and said, hey, I've got some problems with my current incumbent. You've been persistent and consistent in trying to get the business across. Let's have a chat. So we're actually having a chat on Wednesday, and that client called me again today just to confirm that as well. So when that happens, don't give up on a current deal or situation. Give yourself space and then realign yourself with that customer again. And even with friends and family. If you're trying to catch up with friends or family and there's always resistance, sometimes you just need to give that person that bit of space to breathe, and maybe your energies are not aligned. So just always keep that in mind. And if someone says no today, it doesn't mean no forever. It just means that there's a bit of a situation that might not be aligned. So guys, I'm just going to keep that training really, really short, and I will be dropping an exciting video on either Wednesday or Thursday, so keep an eye on it. It's going to be really quite cool. And once again, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you to everyone on YouTube who will watch the replays. And thank you very much for, everyone that has attended Clubhouse. And I've got 3 or 4 students actually who've asked some specific questions around the mindset space, which I will drop another episode next week, guys. And we can talk about a few little questions and give you some answers and things like that and what you want. So guys, welcome back, and thank you very much, and speak soon. Take care and have a great week ahead. and keep persistent and consistent in your pursuit. Take care. Bye.